Batman v Superman, Godzilla vs Kong, Captain America Civil War. Many people love to see when pop culture titans go head to head in some grand story. I mean, who wouldn't? Problems arise, however, in getting these characters to fight each other in ways that make sense and avoiding committing one of the biggest sins of adaptation: character assassination. Alternatively, whilst the characters themselves might be adapted well, this could then mean that the logic and reason behind the story suffers because of it, such as in my opinion was the case with Batman v Superman. Today, I would like to take you through a story that sees Wonder Woman fighting Batman over the fate of a criminal. Criticised by some for the characterisation of the heroes, whilst praised by others for a short story that gets the entertainment and enjoyment of watching these two heroes fight. This was writer Greg Rucka's first ever outing with the character of Wonder Woman, with his later comic book run having now become iconic for the character, and many considering him to be one of Wonder Woman's greatest ever writers. This story highlights his strengths as a writer, whilst also some of the weaknesses due to his inexperience at the time. This is the story of Wonder Woman, the Hiketeia. We open the story with the Wonder Woman reflecting on the burden of responsibility with her being a superhero, which establishes the core theme of this narrative that will be brought up again later down the line. It's good writing that establishes right away exactly what the story is going to be dealing with, and how, for Wonder Woman, life as a superhero is not too easy. We then also see that Wonder Woman is being watched over by three creatures known as the Erinyes. This leads Wonder Woman to explain to us what the Hiketeia is. We learn that it is a ritual where someone supplicates themselves to a host, and the host is obligated by the ritual to provide for them and care for them, and we're told that refusing this ritual is one of the worst things you can do. One problem I do have with this section is we're kind of told that refusing the ritual is terrible. We're not really shown it. We're shown one example, but it's just that the three Erinyes just kill a guy. I bring this up especially because this is Wonder Woman we're talking about, and in narration she talks about how refusing the Hiketeia is terrible and like you have to accept it no matter what. But if the punishment is just the three Erinyes trying to kill you, it's Wonder Woman. Like, she's got superpowers. Would they really be able to kill her? Like, if she refused to complete the Hiketeia, couldn't she just turn around and fight the three of them? And that'd probably be quite interesting, to be honest. Whereas she just seems kind of like terrified by the idea of refusing a Hiketeia. We then cut to a flashback of Gotham City 3 weeks ago. We see a woman just about winning a fight and killing someone with a knife. She then calls someone called Melody and quickly flees. Melody's just like never brought up in this entire story again. I don't know what the point of this is. We do, however, get this really cool frame where as she's fleeing you can just see in the back the outline of Batman's cape, and I think that's just really good artwork. I mean, that's intimidating. That's really cool. We then get revealed Batman in his full glory, who is here to put a stop to this woman for her string of murders. Of course, the woman isn't happy about this and tries to flee. What follows is a really cool chase scene with the woman insinuating that she had to or was forced in some way to go through with these murders before eventually jumping off a bridge and landing in the river and floating away somewhere. I would like to say that the artist J.G. Jones is really good in Greg Rucka's run, in my opinion. His artwork is quite frankly just incredible, in my opinion. He just is very, very talented and really elevates the writing and the story and like the movement of the characters. It's just some of the best I've seen in comics. We then see Wonder Woman, who's introduced as having a quite large crowd as she's an ambassador of Themyscira in New York. We see Danielle, who's made it to New York and is stalking Wonder Woman through the crowd. She waits until later at night before finally seizing the opportunity. Danielle supplicates herself to Wonder Woman and gets like everything right, invoking Zeus, grabbing the knees, and yeah, it's basically that, and she basically does the Hiketeia exactly how it should be done, which implies that she has some knowledge on this at least, which will be touched on later. And so Wonder Woman is forced by ritual of the Hiketeia to comply with this and welcomes Danielle into her home. We then see Wonder Woman being a gracious host and just doing nice things here and there to host Danielle, but is still haunted outside by the sight of the Erinyes, who are still waiting and still watching through the windows of her apartment. Keep in mind as well that like at this point, and at no point for a while, Wonder Woman bothers to ask, like, there's kind of obviously something off with Danielle. She keeps on like panicking when speaking and is a bit of a mess. And at no point does Wonder Woman bother to ask. Now, this wouldn't change a thing because she is still obligated to care for her under Hiketeia, but it is kind of ignorant. In my opinion, it would be established sooner that Wonder Woman learns of what Danielle has done and raises some moral problems with the Hiketeia then, and Wonder Woman debating, is it worth following this ancient ritual if it means protecting someone of such moral lowness? Wonder Woman then goes outside to confront the Erinyes because she believes that they're there to threaten the safety of Danielle, who is her supplicant, and so if they want at the supplicant, they've got to go through Wonder Woman. But the Erinyes reveal that they are not in fact after Danielle, the supplicant. The Erinyes are there simply to watch and warn, as they put, that of the dire consequences of betraying the Hiketeia, as they would try and defeat Wonder Woman. Now, to be honest, I believe that the Erinyes in this story should pose a greater threat that really means Wonder Woman cannot break that Hiketeia at any cost, because the Erinyes threatening to kill Wonder Woman isn't very intimidating to us as readers. And like, so when the Erinyes go, if you betray the Hiketeia, we'll come and fight you, I kind of want to see that. Like, I want to see her fight the Erinyes. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, in my opinion, to improve this story, I'd have the Erinyes make a greater threat that doesn't even involve one, like, I don't know, just destroying a building or something. I don't know, I can't think of it directly, but you get what I mean. Destroying a building or something, having the threat be something Wonder Woman cannot stop directly. Additionally, the Erinyes also warn that soon he will come, warning that the Hiketeia is not only about the supplicant, but the supplicated. This is obviously foreshadowing Batman. Another thing to note that I failed to mention earlier, but currently Danielle cannot see the Erinyes. Wonder Woman tried to point them out before, and she couldn't see them, and whilst Wonder Woman is confronting them here, Danielle still can't see him. This will be important later. As Wonder Woman is caring for Danielle, but still has to do all of her work as not only a superhero, but also the ambassador of Themyscira, she gets Danielle to help her as a bit of an assistant. We then get a big montage page of Danielle helping Wonder Woman out with various different things, which helps you as a reader sympathize with her, which is good considering she killed 4 people. We kind of need that. And at the same time, it does just feel a bit ignorant to me, and doesn't sit too right with me that Wonder Woman is benefiting off of having an assistant that killed 4 people, and she's refusing to ask her what it was she did, even though Danielle's repeatedly telling her to ask her what she did, and like, you don't know what I did, and Wonder Woman just keeps on saying I don't care. But it's like, now Wonder Woman is benefiting off of having an assistant that killed 4 people. Finally, however, we do get Batman showing up to take in Danielle and hand her over to law enforcement. Now, of course, Wonder Woman refuses and cannot allow this. She cannot allow Danielle to be harmed whilst she's under Hiketeia, and this is what drives the conflict. So the crux of this conflict is that Batman is a character of total justice. He doesn't care about rituals, he doesn't care about oaths, whereas Wonder Woman is of course one of more compassion and will abide by the rules and the oaths and rituals like Hiketeia that she establishes. And so this is where they come to conflict, of course, in the story, but it does still feel like a judgmental error on Wonder Woman's part, not only to kind of refuse to ask Danielle what it is she did, which could be seen as sort of ignorance, but also complete refusal to find any sort of compromise. Like, Wonder Woman at no point acknowledges that she should face Danielle should face some consequence for killing 4 people. She's just like, I've got to protect her because she's under Hiketeia. But at no point does she ever say to Batman, fine, once she's out of Hiketeia, then we'll find a consequence. At no point does she ever say that. She just keeps on reiterating there's going to be no consequence for Danielle while she's under Hiketeia. Now, some people say that this comic book has Batman acting out of character, and so they don't really like that part of it. I don't really see that. I think Batman acts within character, just wanting justice for, you know, no matter what. That's always been Batman. I mean, he's never been one to stick to the law. One thing I find a bit funny is Batman mentions how he's tracked her all the way from Gotham, and they're in New York. How like safe is Gotham in this storyline? I'm like, Batman has traveled from Gotham all the way to New York, chasing some random girl who's killed 4 people. I mean, okay, killing 4 people is not insignificant, but you're telling me like Joker isn't terrorizing some people? Like Two-Face isn't robbing a bank? Like, are you telling me all of Batman's supervillains are not disturbing anyone enough for him to travel all the way to New York for some girl who killed 4 people, which compared to the rest of Batman's villains is rookie numbers? So anyway, Wonder Woman refuses Batman to enter repeatedly, and eventually gets to the point where it starts to become a physical confrontation, and Wonder Woman just sucker punches him off the balcony, which really good art again, and quite the entertaining page. Just a really good page. But anyway, Batman leaves, and Wonder Woman just like dismisses Danielle and says it's fine, she doesn't really care. And like, again, it gets to a point where a superhero is just willingly ignoring the fact that she's protecting someone who's killed 4 people. And even Danielle here forces Wonder Woman with the lasso of truth to ask her what she did. Now, Wonder Woman does say that she trusted Danielle to be honest, but at no point did she ask a question for her to honestly respond. So now we get Danielle's backstory, and this is slightly dark. I won't be going too in depth to it because, I mean, I'd encourage you to read the comic yourself. Basically, Danielle had a younger sister who came to Gotham wanting to be an actress star, and got with the wrong people, which is a huge understatement, and was taken advantage of in terms of money, in terms of a lot of things, and eventually through drug abuse that was encouraged by these terrible people who were the 4 that Danielle killed. She overdosed, and yeah, just very sad story, and was taken advantage of by these 4 people that Danielle would later go on to kill in an act of justice. Now, it's here that Danielle actually admits that the Erinyes came to her and encouraged her to avenge her sister and kill the 4 people. So the Erinyes spurred Danielle on to commit the 4 murders, and the Erinyes appeared for her there, and yet don't anymore. Here, Danielle also admits to a strong admiration of Wonder Woman. She wants to be like Wonder Woman, be good. She even learned ancient Greek, which is probably where earlier she knew so much about the Hiketeia, you know, the grabbing of the knees, the invoking of Zeus. So it's nice that it's set up earlier and paid off here. Here, I also find it kind of funny because Danielle says that it was the law 3,000 years ago to avenge someone dying by murdering the people who killed her. And then Wonder Woman says it was the law, but 3,000 years ago. So is the Hiketeia. The Hiketeia is a 3,000-year-old ritual, but no, you have to abide by that, I guess. Sure. Wonder Woman then asks herself whether she'd do the same if it was one of her sisters. And is interrupted when the Erinyes appear in her room. Not with nefarious intentions though, to inform her that Danielle has run away. Nice one. The Erinyes actually help out Wonder Woman here and point her towards a sewage system, which is where Danielle has run off to. We then cut to Danielle, who is once again confronted by Batman, who finds her in the Batmobile, gets out, and threatens to bring her in. After Danielle runs away for a bit, Wonder Woman shows up and starts to fight Batman. Batman, unfortunately, I guess didn't have enough prep time in this story because Wonder Woman quite easily stops him. Batman then, however, tries to invoke a Hiketeia on Wonder Woman. Now, I have thoughts. Wonder Woman rejects his Hiketeia because she can, I guess. She says that Achilles refused, I can't pronounce that, and that's from the Iliad. So she can reject Hiketeias. Why didn't she reject Danielle? Now granted, she didn't know Danielle was a murderer, but also apparently in Greek society back in ancient Greece, whilst the Hiketeia was a moral obligation and in society it was often very encouraged to accept, it was not a legal obligation. You were not legally obliged to accept a Hiketeia. In fact, certain situations justified and encouraged refusing a Hiketeia, such as those found guilty of a crime might be prohibited from seeking supplication to overturn their conviction, like killing 4 people. Now, granted, like we established, Wonder Woman was not aware that Danielle had killed 4 people, and I'm pretty sure once you start Hiketeia, you can't then void it. So Danielle was smart in not revealing that before invoking it, but still, I just thought I'd bring it up because it's funny that now she decides to reject a Hiketeia, even though we were told that like refusing a supplicant is the worst thing in the world at the start of the story, and like it's the end, be all end all of the world. Although now, after Wonder Woman rejects Batman's Hiketeia appeal, the Erinyes appear for Danielle and intimidate and scare her and kind of, I guess, make her realize the consequences and weight of not only her actions but also the Hiketeia she invoked, enough to psych her to decide that it's worth casting herself over a railing. She expresses her gratitude for Wonder Woman's care, and Wonder Woman tries to save her, but it's too late, and with her final breaths, she releases Wonder Woman from the Hiketeia. Danielle's death is quite tragic in that she was not only the victim of the Erinyes manipulation, who was implied to have manipulated her into going through with killing 4 people, but also, of course, being hunted by Batman. And it's pretty clear that Wonder Woman, Batman, and Danielle are all victims of the true villain, which are the Erinyes in this story. They incited the entire thing to begin with by, encouraging Danielle to kill 4 people, and not just anyone, someone who had enough knowledge of ancient Greek to then be able to invoke a Hiketeia on Wonder Woman to get her to go into conflict with Batman. And so it was quite a good plan, but quite an efficient execution of the villainous idea of the Erinyes, and makes all 3 of the central characters suffer for it. The final page sees Wonder Woman angrily displaying rage at the Erinyes and what they've cost Wonder Woman in this story, and once again repeating a phrase of "it was never this cold on Themyscira," highlighting the responsibilities she has as a superhero and the comfort of an easy life that she gave up by leaving the island of paradise. Okay, now I want to do something a little different from normal. Here I'm going to suggest ways that I would improve this comic, because I really like this comic. I think it's fun and it's entertaining, but as I've highlighted, there are certain issues I have with the story. So I've written down some things I think would improve it if it was ever retold. Now, this might sound a little bit stupid to start things off, but first of all, get rid of Melody. Okay, I'm joking. The thing that's a little bit stupid, but have Danielle commit the 4 murders dressed up as Wonder Woman. Now, it sounds a bit stupid or a bit weird, but First of all, Danielle says that she aspires to be like Wonder Woman, and so that could be taking it to the literal extreme. And second of all, like I said earlier, like, why is Batman going all the way to New York over some random killer that's, okay, killed 4 people, but what? There's no Joker, no Bane, no Two-Face, no Penguin, no Riddler, no Ra's al Ghul, no nothing. No threats in Gotham, and the biggest, most important priority for him at this moment in time is to chase someone who's never killed before and just kills 4 people all the way to New York City. Whereas, if there were reports that Wonder Woman had killed 4 people in Gotham and ran back off to where she does live in New York, that's pretty significant. That's a lot more significant than just a random girl who's, you know, like, that'd be something the GCPD would deal with. That wouldn't even be something like that Batman would deal with, just a girl who killed 4 people. Now, point number 2 is, as I also briefly mentioned earlier, establishing a proper threat from the Erinyes. The Erinyes, just all we see is if you fail the Hiketeia, they kill you. But we only saw them kill 1 person, which was a mortal, and Wonder Woman is not mortal. So either establish them as a bigger threat, show that the Erinyes have taken down more powerful beings, and so have the powers to take down Wonder Woman. We kind of see this when Wonder Woman goes to confront her. They kind of throw her around a bit, and so it's kind of implied they might be more powerful. Or just have them make a bigger threat. Like they say, we'll deploy some godly powers and kill some random civilians, and you won't know who it is if you fail Hiketeia, so their lives are on your hands. And then that's a lot higher stakes. And then when Batman goes, give her up because she killed 4 people, Wonder Woman could go, well, no, because then more people will die, and then there's more of a conflict to the story. So that's my second point. Segment over. I thought I'd written more, to be honest. So that was Wonder Woman, the Hiketeia. I really enjoy it despite the plot flaws. I do think, you know, narrative wise it's not the tightest, but it's entertaining. The artwork is so good, and the characterization in terms of moment to moment things is all right. In terms of the wider story, I think, but yeah, and entertaining, short read, only like I think around 100 pages, maybe less. Definitely worth a read. Check it out yourself.